Hey y'all, it's that time again. It's Math with Mrs. Peters, the crazy cat lady of Hiram High School, and we're going to continue our exploration of the descriptive property and greatest common factor factoring. Yes, we're going to explore. Okay, so what do I mean by backwards distributive property? What I mean is we are going to go from the sum model to the product model. Previous to this, we've been going from the product model to the sum model. Now we're going to go in the other direction, from sum to product. And we also call this also known as factoring. So here's my first example of what we're going to talk about. All right, I have my sum model, which is inside my area of my box, and I have one of my pieces for my product model. Okay, so now I need to know what. All right, that was lunch. What I need to know is what can I multiply 5 by to get 5x? Well, multiply by x. So I'm going to put that up here in the top. Now, what do I multiply 5 by to get 20? I multiply by 4. So my product model is 5 times the quantity x plus 4. All right, here's another one. Now, I only know a piece, a small piece of my product model. I know that inside my parentheses, I'm going to have plus 8. So 8 times something, and that something is over here, is 48. Well, 6 times 8 is 48. So now I'm going to take that 6 and go 6 times what is 6x? X is. So now I have got my product model. That's the stuff on the outside edges. So I have 6 times x plus 8. All right, here's another one. Again, I have a piece of my product model. Okay, I have x. So what do I multiply x by to get 10? Or get 10x. Sorry about that. What do I multiply x by to get 10x? Well, I multiply by 10. Now, what do I multiply 10 by to get 30? 3. So my product model is 10 times x plus 3. So let's step this up. Here's my sum model. I need to put it inside my box. So I have 5x and 35. Now, we are going to, and I'm going to use a highlighter here. Let's see. Let me get out a nice one here. Here we go. I am going to look this direction. All right. My question is, what does 5x and 35 have in common? What number can I multiply 5x by? Excuse me, what number can I divide 5x by that I can also divide 35 by? And that's 5. And that's 5. Because 5 divides into 5x and 5 divides into 35. And we can look at that if I drew a little, wrong color marker. If I drew a little line here and said 5, and drew a little line and put 5 there, I could cross out my 5's, okay, and I would notice that I get x left over. And if I did the same thing here, 35 divided by 5 gives me 7. So my product model, or what we're going to call now factored form, it's 5 times x plus 7. Let's look at another example. Here's 7 minus 28x. Okay, first thing I need to do is I need to draw a box. Now I have 2 terms, so I'm going to divide my box into 2 pieces. And I'm going to put my sum inside 7 and negative 28x. Again, I'm going to pay attention to going horizontally. What do those 2 numbers have in common? Well, they both can be divided by 7. So 7 divided by 7 is 1, and negative 28x divided by 7 is negative 4x. So I'm going to write my factored form, 7 times the quantity 1 minus 4x. Here's another one. Oh my, it's got a whole bunch more letters, Mrs. Peters. Yes, it does. But I'm going to notice that I have 2 terms. So I'm going to draw a box that has 2 sections. I'm going to put my area inside each section. Again, I'm going to say, what do both of these things have in common? Okay, well, 10, if I just look at the number part, okay, 10 and 16 both have 2 in common, then they both have a y. So I'm going to write down 2y on the outside edge. Now, 2y times what gives me 10y x third? Well, 2 divides into 10 5 times, and y divides into y 1 time, and there's nothing for the x to the third power, so I just tack it on there at the end. We'll do it again. 2y, okay, divides into 16y. Well, 2 divides into 16 8 times, and magically enough, Mrs. Peters forgot to put the y in when she was writing this, because y divides into y 1 time. Okay, again, you can type it like this or write it like this, okay, and cancel out what needs to be canceled out. So my product form, also known as my factored form, is 2y times 5x cubed plus 8. This one, oh no, it has 3 terms. What am I going to do? Oh, well, guess what? I am going to create a box, okay, that has 3 portions, 3 segments, okay? I'm going to put my areas in each one. Oh, that's great. My pen doesn't want to behave, so guess what? We're going to do it the hard way. Negative 80 n to the 5th, negative 80 n squared, and 30 n. Now, just like before, what do all 3 of these things have in common? Well, they have a factor of 10, and they have a factor of n. And what I want you to notice that the smallest exponent is 1 on that n. So I'm only going to have n to the first power, right? Now, let's do our division. Okay, so if I divide 80, negative 80 by 10, I get negative 8. And if I divide n to the 5th power by n, I get n to the 4th power. Okay, do it again. Divide 80n squared by 10n. Okay, negative 80 divided by 10 is negative 8. N squared divided by n is n to the 1st power. 30n divided by 10n. Well, 30 divided by 10 is 3, and n divided by n is 1. So that's 3 times 1, which magically enough, and yes guys, magic does happen in the land of mathematics. We don't have to worry about the 1, because 3 times 1 is 3. So, my factored form is going to be what? 10n times, okay, here comes the outside top edges, negative 8n cubed, oops, excuse me, 4th power, 10 n 8, negative 8 n to the 4th minus 8n plus 3. Right, one more. Oh no, this one's got 4 terms. Am I going to draw a box that goes really long this way and have 4 sections? No, I'm going to show you a cuter way and an easier way. We're going to draw a box that is actually a 4 by 4 square. Just like this. And I'm going to put my sums on the inside. Okay, so I'm going to get 10x, y here, 12x, 35, y, and 42. Now, we're going to do just like we did before, but on this one, we are going to do it 4 times. We're going to find what do these 2 have in common. And you go, oh, wow, Mrs. Peters, what I have in common is, well, 10 and 12 can both be divided by 2, and they both have an x, And the smallest exponent on that x is a 1, so they only have 2x in common. And I'd say, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Now let's do the bottom one. 35 and y and 42. They both have 7 in common. Okay? They don't have a y in common, so that's all I can do. So that gets rid of the horizontal. Now let's talk about the vertical part. And you're like, really? Yeah, we're going to talk about going this direction now. So, what does 10xy and 35y have in common? Well, you see it, they have a y. Now, can 10 and 35 be divided by the same number? Yeah, 5. And what hopefully you'll check is to notice that 5 times 7 is 35. Oh, look, I have part of my answer. Okay, so now let's do this other one that goes this way. Okay, 2x times what is 12x? Well, I have a 6. Cool. 7 times 42 is 6. Oh my word, that was so much easier. So my factored form is going to be, parentheses, I'm going to take these guys here, 2x plus 7, and then I'm going to use these and another set of parentheses of 5y plus 6. Huh, that wasn't that hard. All right, so let's look at this one. This one has a whole lot more letters and stuff going on. So let's look at our box. I'm going to have a 4x4 box. Okay. Click my area on the inside. And let's start looking at it going horizontally. What do these two guys have in common? Well, Mrs. Peters, they both look like they can be divided by 7 and a b squared. So if I go down here, I'm going to look at them and say, well, negative 8b and positive 6. Now, be careful of the negative sign. I'm going to factor out a negative 2 out of both of them. Now, what can you multiply negative 2 by and get positive 6? Well, a negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. And up here on the top one here, what do I multiply 7b squared by to get 28b cubed? Well, it's 4b. And my factored form is 7b squared minus 2 times 4b minus, should be 3. Oh, can't believe I wrote that. We'll take that 6 out of there. Take that 6 out of there, scribble that out, and put the number 3 in. And that's it. Guys, if you can do that, you've got factoring by greatest common factor, and you got factoring by grouping because I stuck that in. That's the 4x4 square box. I think y'all rock. I think you're awesome. If you have questions, bring them to class. I'll be happy to answer them. Talk to you then. Bye.